On Memorial Day Sunday, Kyle Larson went to attempt a double at both Indianapolis and the Coke 600, running all 1,100 miles in one day. Unfortunately for Kyle, a rain delay went up, pushing the start of the Indianapolis 500 back. Instead of leaving to go back to Charlotte and run the 600, Kyle opted to stay and run the Indianapolis 500, missing the start and eventually the Coca-Cola 600. You can say Kyle was invading IndyCar territory, as he came from the world of dirt and stock cars. And that kind of got me thinking about the old open wheel invasion that NASCAR had back in the late 2000s. So let's go ahead and reminisce and look back at those that were part of the open wheel invasion. The first driver we'll talk about that came over to NASCAR will be Juan Pablo Montoya. Juan was a very accomplished open wheel racer, as a former champion of the old kart series, Indy 500 winner, and a winner of Formula One's Monaco Grand Prix. In 2006, Juan would make his first starts in a stock car, racing for Kerry Scher and Chip Ganassi in ARCA at Talladega and Iowa. Juan also went on to run the final 4 races of the Busch Series season in 2006 at Memphis, Texas, Phoenix, and Homestead for Chip Ganassi, and made his Cup debut at Homestead for Chip in the number 30 car, where he would run in the back half of the field before being involved in a crash. In 2007, Juan would run the entire Cup Series schedule and half the Busch Series schedule to help him adapt to the ovals. 2007 was a bumpy road to say the least, as he would finish in the back half of the field more times than not, but there were a few trips to victory lane. In the Busch Series, Juan would win at Mexico City, and in the Cup Series, he would win at Sonoma, bringing Chip Ganassi Racing back to Cup Series victory lane in 4.5 years. 2008 saw Juan get nailed by the sophomore slump, with him only scoring 3 top 10s, with a best finish of second at Talladega. 2009 will be Juan's best season in NASCAR. He would score a career-high 18 top 10s and nearly won the Brickyard and a handful of other races. Juan would make the 12-man chase and looked like a title threat, being as high as 3rd in points, but will end up finishing 8th. 2010 was a downgrade from 2009. He missed the chase, finishing 17th in points, but he did go back to victory lane at Watkins Glen. But on top of that, he had 8 DNFs on the season. From 2011 to 2013, Juan's seasons were again disappointing, with the only thing being remembered in that time frame was just the jet dryer incident in the 2012 Daytona 500. Juan had a combined 6 top 5s and 18 top 10s in those seasons, and they will be his final seasons in NASCAR. Juan would run 2 more races in 2014 for Team Penske at Michigan and Indianapolis, and his NASCAR career was finished. Juan would return to IndyCar, where he would win another Indy 500, and would race sports cars, where he would win the 2009 WeatherTech Sports Cars Series Championship. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the most successful driver of the invasion, AJ Allmendinger. AJ, much like Montoya, raced in the kart series, then known as Champ Car, from 2004 to 2006. 2006 was AJ's best year, as he scored 5 wins that season and finished 3rd in points. At the end of 2006, AJ made his Truck Series debut at New Hampshire, driving for Bill Davis Racing, finishing a solid 13th. AJ would run 2 more races with a 5th place finish at Talladega, and had a best start of 2nd at Atlanta, but was taken out from a crash early in the race. 2006 also saw AJ make 2 attempts in the Cup Series for Red Bull Racing at Atlanta and Texas, but failed to make both races. 2007 saw AJ race for Red Bull and be one of the first drivers at Toyota. And boy, was that season rough. AJ would fail to make the first 4 races of the season and would fail to qualify 19 times that season, tied for 2nd with Michael Waltrip and behind Kevin LePage, who had 25 DNFs that season. He also made 7 Busch Series starts for Chip Ganassi and 9 truck starts with Darrell Waltrip. AJ would have a best finish of 15th in Cup, 13th in Busch, and 2nd in the Truck Series in 2007. The start of 2008 was more of the same. He failed to qualify for the first 3 races, and then Red Bull benched him for Mike Skinner. AJ's first race was at Talladega, and from there he made the rest of the races that season. He even scored a few top 10s, with a best finish of 9th at Kansas. Ironically, that would be his last race for Red Bull, as they released him from his contract. So AJ finished out the season with Michael Waltrip and Gillette Evernham. 2009 saw AJ run his first full-time season with the new Richard Petty Motorsports. He would score his first top 5 in his career at the Daytona 500 with a 3rd place finish. He would score a total of 6 top 10s that season and end the season 24th in points. 2010 saw a slight progression, as he scored 2 top 5s and 8 top 10s and winning his first pole award at Phoenix in the spring, ending the season 19th in points. 2011 saw even more progression out of him. While only scoring 1 top 5, he scored 10 top 10s and had his best average finish at his tenure at RPM, helping to land AJ a 15th place points finish. With all that improvement in his career, a big opportunity came AJ's way. When Kurt Busch was let go by Team Penske at the end of 2011, AJ got the call to drive the Shell Pennzoil Dodge for the 2012 season. At first, AJ was having a hard time adjusting to the new team. The first 15 races only saw 1 top 10, a second place at Martinsville, but scored back-to-back top 10s at Sonoma and Kentucky. However, a good rise has a hard downfall.
Kerry, driver AJ Allmendinger has been temporarily suspended from NASCAR competition based upon notification of a positive A test NASCAR received from its medical review officer.
Before the Coke Zero 400 at Daytona, it was announced that AJ was suspended for failing the drug test and was eventually released by Team Penske. AJ would return to NASCAR competition at the Fall Charlotte race, driving for James Finch to, ironically, replace Kurt Busch as Kurt went to race for Furniture Row. 2013 saw AJ run in a few cars that season. He split 18 races with JTG Daugherty and James Finch, with a best finish of 10th at Watkins Glen. He ran 2 nationwide races for Team Penske, where he would win both races at Road America and Mid-Ohio. And AJ also went on to IndyCar and ran 6 races with a best finish of 7th in the Indy 500. 2014 would see AJ return to full-time competition with JTG Daugherty Racing, and the biggest moment in his career would come in this season. At Watkins Glen, AJ would start 6th, lead 29 laps, and would go on to win his first race after a great battle with Marcos Ambrose. With that win, AJ locked himself into his first chase, the first of the 16-man system. However, AJ would be eliminated in round 1 and finish a best 13th in points. From 2015 to 2018, AJ would go winless and would fail to make the playoffs in all those years. With a combined 4 top 5s and 20 top 10s in those seasons would see AJ leave JTG at the end of 2018, and it looked like AJ was going to be out of the sport. During the 2019 season, it was announced that AJ had signed with Colleague Racing to run their part-time number 10 car for 5 races. AJ's first race came at the Summer Daytona race, where he originally finished 3rd, but was disqualified and placed in last. At Watkins Glen, AJ would finish 2nd at first, but was disqualified again, relegating him to another last-place finish. His last race of the season would come at the Charlotte Roval, where he would score his first win with Colleague Racing. 2020 would see AJ run 11 races for Colleague, and was unfortunately supposed to be 12 races, but it had stuck brakes during Daytona qualifying, resulting in a DNQ for the Dinger. However, in the second race of the season at Atlanta, AJ would win his first oval race of his career. Seeing the joy in his interview just brought new life into AJ's career. He would win again later in the season at the rainy Charlotte Roval. His 2020 season saw AJ score 6 top 5s and 8 top 10s. AJ would return to full competition in the Xfinity Series for Colleague Racing in their 3rd car, the number 16. AJ would have a stellar season back in full-time competition, winning 5 races and won the regular season championship. He would make the Final 4 and would end up finishing 4th with 18 top 5s and 22 top 10s. AJ also returned to Cup Series victory lane as he won the Cup Series first race on the Indy Road Course. 2022 saw an even better year for AJ. 5 wins, 17 top 5s, and 28 top 10s, winning the regular season championship again, but would finish 5th in points after missing the Final 4. Just a side note here, AJ would have won the 2022 title under the old points format, but let's not talk about that. 2023 would see AJ return to the Cup Series and drive Colleague's number 16, where he would take the team back to victory lane at the Charlotte Roval, and where he would also score 4 top 5s and 7 top 10s that season. To help Colleague's Xfinity program, AJ went back down to the Xfinity Series, and as of this recording, has 3 top 5s and 7 top 10s in 14 starts, looking to rebuild the team and go trophy hunting for Matt Colleague. Alright, let's talk about probably the second best of the open wheelers, Sam Hornish Jr. Sam had built a very solid foundation in IndyCar, winning the championship 3 times and won the Indy 500 in 2006. In 2006, Sam made his first starts in a stock car. Sam would run the last 2 races of the 2006 Busch season at Phoenix and Homestead for Team Penske, but would have poor results of 36th and 43rd. 2007 saw Sam make 9 Busch starts, his ARCA debut, and his Cup Series debut, even for Team Penske. He finished second in his ARCA debut, but other than that, a lot of his finishes in Cup and the Busch Series were disappointing. The only decent finish came from the spring Atlanta race in the Busch Series, where he finished 15th. Hell, he even DNQ'd 6 races before his Cup debut. But nevertheless, 2008 came around and Sam was running full-time in the Cup Series in the number 77 Mobil 1 Dodge. Sam's rookie season was a disappointment as his best finish was a 15th in the Daytona 500, and even DNQ'd races at Fall Talladega and Homestead. Sam also ran 8 nationwide races with a best finish of 11th at Darlington. 2009 saw Sam's best season in the Cup Series, as he scored 2 top 5s with the best finish of 4th at Pocono and 7 top 10s, but had 8 DNFs on the year. But he did make all the races. 2010 will be Sam's last full-time season for Penske in the Cup Series and was disappointing. 1 top 10 at Loudon and a 29th place points finish saw Sam get booted out of the 77 and has moved to a part-time nationwide schedule in 2011. In the 13 starts for 2011, Sam scored 6 top 10s and 2 top 5s, with one of those top 5s being his first nationwide win at Phoenix at the end of the year. 2012 saw Sam's first full-time season in nationwide. Sam unfortunately went winless that season with 10 top 5s and 22 top 10s, placing him 4th in points. But again, this is at a time when Cup guys could come down to the Nationwide Series and run as many races as they wanted, and the Cup regulars won 17 of the 33 races, and 12 races were won by the top 3 in points. Sam also pulled double duty in 2012, as he replaced the earlier mentioned AJ Allmendinger as he was suspended. His Cup season started at Daytona in July, and he only had 1 top 5 and 1 top 10 at Watkins Glen. 2013 saw Sam return to victory lane as he scored a victory at Las Vegas at the beginning of the year. Sam's 2013 was his best year of his NASCAR tenure, with the 1 win, 16 top 5s, and 25 top 10s, and an average finish of 9th place. Sam never left the top 4 in points all year, but ended up finishing second to Austin Dillon in the championship by 3 points. While Sam put up a solid season, that was his last full-time season in Nationwide. 2014 only saw Sam in 8 races for Joe Gibbs, where he would win a race at Iowa. 2015 saw Sam return to the Cup Series and drive the number 9 for Richard Petty. In that season, Sam only scored 3 top 10s from Talladega in the spring and the 2 road courses. In 2016 and 2017, Sam would run a combined 10 starts for Joe Gibbs, Richard Childress, and Roger Penske, where he scored 2 wins, 6 top 5s, and 7 top 10s, with his last race ending with a second-place finish at Homestead in 2017. Sam retired with a respectable career in the Xfinity Series and an amazing open-wheel career, and now enjoys retirement from racing in Defiance, Ohio. Alright, well, since we got to the better half of the Invaders, we might as well talk about the other half of the Invaders. We'll start with Dario Franchitti. Dario spent about a decade in open wheel before moving to stock cars. Dario raced in the kart series from 1997 to 2002 with Hogan Racing and Team Green, winning 10 races, all with Team Green. From 2003 to 2007, Dario raced under the IndyCar banner, racing for Andretti Green Racing, scoring 8 wins, including an Indy 500 in 2007 and scoring the IndyCar Championship in 2007. However, after the 2007 season, Dario went to take on a different challenge in stock cars. Dario made his stock car debut in the ARCA Series at Talladega for Chip Ganassi, finishing 17th. Dario also made 4 Busch Series starts at the end of the year for the Ganassi team, with a best finish of 25th at Texas. Dario also made 1 Truck Series start at Martinsville for Kerry Scher with a partnership with Chip Ganassi, finishing 33rd after having mechanical problems. In 2008, Dario was looking to race in both Cup and Nationwide, but to say it was a pleasant time will be a lie. Dario raced in the number 40 in both Cup and Nationwide for Chip Ganassi, where Dario would only run 10 Cup races and 14 Nationwide races for the team. The Cup side was just difficult, as he only had a best finish of 22nd at Martinsville and failed to qualify for 2 races. Plus, not having a secure sponsorship deal helped end his Cup Series tenure. His Nationwide tenure was a mixed bag. He scored 2 top 10s at Las Vegas and Watkins Glen, with Watkins Glen being his best finish of 5th after scoring his only pole. But the bad was at Talladega, where he got caught up in an accident and ended up with a broken ankle. Dario's last race was at Night Bristol, where he started 2nd and finished 11th. After 2008, Dario went back to IndyCar with Chip Ganassi, and it was as if he never left. From 2009 to 2011, Dario would win 12 races, one being another Indy 500 in 2010, and would win the championship in all 3 years. Dario would win one more race in 2012, his third Indy 500, but unfortunately, his career would come to an end as he was involved in a scary crash in the second race of the Houston doubleheader, forcing his retirement at age 40. Today he works at CGR as a driver mentor and advisor. Our next driver on this list is quite famous in NASCAR for his own right, Jacques Villeneuve. Jacques, the son of F1 driver Gillies, had a very successful open-wheel career in both Formula 1 and kart, as he won the 1995 kart title and the 1997 F1 World Championship, along with the 1995 Indianapolis 500. After spending the 90s and mid-2000s in open wheel, Jacques made the transition to NASCAR in 2007, as he made 7 Truck Series starts for Bill Davis. Jacques' qualifying runs were fairly fast, as he had 2 top 10 starting spots and a best of 3rd at Homestead and a worst of 27th at Martinsville. However, his race pace wasn't as good as his qualifying, and he had a best finish of 14th at Atlanta. In 2007, Jacques also made 2 Cup Series starts for Bill Davis and is number 27 at Talladega and Phoenix. At Talladega, he started in 6th, however, dropped to the back immediately, but did run all the laps, finishing 21st. At Phoenix, however, Jacques started in 27th and ended up 41st after crashing out just before halfway. In 2008, Jacques only attempted 1 Cup race, the Daytona 500, where he would DNQ after crashing in his duel. In the Nationwide Series, Jacques only ran 1 race that season, the Napa Auto Parts 200 at Circuit Gillies Villeneuve, where he would race for Braun Racing, finishing 16th. From 2008 to 2012, Jacques was mainly a driver for the standalone road course races in the Nationwide Series. He would race for Braun Racing again at Montreal in 2009 and put up a solid finish of 4th. 2010 saw Jacques run 3 nationwide races and a Cup race for Braun Racing. Jacques raced at Road America, Watkins Glen, and Montreal, scoring 2 top 10s with a best finish of 3rd at Montreal. Jacques' lone Cup race in 2010 came at the Brickyard, where he finished 29th, 3 laps down. In 2011 to 2012, Jacques raced for Team Penske at Montreal and Road America, where you can say some of his best work was with this team in that time frame. In those 4 races, 3 of them had top 10 finishes with the best finish of 3rd twice and a pole position. 2013 saw Jacques return to the Cup Series for a one-off with Phoenix Racing at Sonoma. However, that one-off didn't last long, as he lost the engine after 19 laps. After Sonoma, we wouldn't see Jacques race in the Cup Series for 9 years. But before we get to that, what did Jacques do in between that time? Well, he raced in just about everything and everywhere. Jacques ran races in the Canada Series, Whelen Euro Series, IndyCar, and Formula E. In 2022, a new team called Team Hesburgh fielded the number 27 for the 2022 Cup Series season and tapped Jacques to qualify for the Daytona 500. And to many surprise, Jacques not only made the Daytona 500, but he made it in on speed. So Jacques was able to run the Great American Race and brought the car back in 22nd, marking his last start in NASCAR. Okay, from one Canadian to another, let's go ahead and talk about Patrick Carpentier. Patrick's time in kart and IndyCar was so-so. He won 5 races, all in kart, and had a best points finish of 3rd twice in the 9 years of racing. In 2007, Patrick made his stock car debut in the Busch Series at the inaugural race at Montreal, where he impressed from the start. He qualified on pole in the Fitz Bradshaw 22 Dodge, and he ended up finishing 3rd. Well, in the record book, he finished in 2nd, but those that know what happened know that Robbie Gordon won that race. The following week at Watkins Glen, he would pull double duty, as he raced the 22 again, finishing 19th, and would debut in the Cup Series for Ray Evernham's team in the number 10 car, replacing Scott Riggs, finishing 22nd. At the end of the 2000 season, Patrick would replace Scott Riggs in the last 2 races of the Cup Series season, and he would make his oval debut at Phoenix, where he ran the whole race, finishing 33rd, 2 laps down. And the final weekend at Homestead, Patrick would pull the double duty again. He raced for Ray Evernham in both races. However, he would crash out in the Busch race, and he also was involved in a wreck in the Cup race, but was still able to finish the race in 40th, 42 laps down. In 2008, Patrick became the full-time driver of the 10 car and ran 8 races in the Nationwide Series. The Cup Series was a disaster to say the least. No top 10s all season, with a best finish of 14th at Daytona in the summer. He did score a pole at New Hampshire, but failed to qualify for 5 races, including the Daytona 500. After failing to qualify at Talladega in the fall, Patrick was released from the team and finished the season 38th in points. His nationwide season was much more successful. In the 8 races, he scored 4 top 10s, with best finish of 2nd at Montreal, and scored a best finish of 8th on the ovals. He also made a single Truck Series start in 2008 for Bobby Hamilton's team at Bristol, where he finished 25th. 2009 saw Patrick run 6 races for Tommy Baldwin and Michael Waltrip, posting a best finish of 11th at Sonoma for Michael. In the Nationwide Series, Patrick ran in 2 races for SK Motorsports and Michael Waltrip, posting a best finish of 17th at Darlington for SK Motorsports. 2010 saw Patrick attempt 8 races for Bill Jenkins at Latitude 43 Racing. However, Patrick only made 6 races and had a best finish of 21st at Watkins Glen. From 2010 to 2012 in the Nationwide Series, Patrick would only run 1 race, the race at Montreal, where he would only have a best finish of 29th in 2012. 2011 saw Patrick made a one-off in the Cup Series for Frank Stoddard with the new Go Fast Racing at Kansas, where he would finish 30th. After Kansas, we wouldn't see Patrick race in the Cup Series for 5 years, as he made 2 starts for Go Fast at Sonoma and Indianapolis, where he scored his best finish at Indy with a 34th. After 2016, Patrick retired from racing entirely after announcing a retirement in 2011, leaving a disappointment career in the world of stock cars. And those are our invaders. Some did better than others, some left their mark one way or another, but either way, they all made the attempt, and I think that's all that we can respect them for. I know there's others that came along the way, but they were not a part of this class. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Have a nice day.